Hello, my name is Mackenzie and I'm back with another video on working in film in New Mexico. So today I'm going to really focus on being a stand-in, what that means, what to expect, and the things you really need to know before you get your first job. So let's get right into it. So stand-in is technically part of background, but it's a level above. What is standing in is what I want to cover first. So basically, a stand-in is someone who takes the place of the actor or actress while the camera gets set up. And it's a big process. It's not just putting the camera in place, it's a lot of lighting that takes a lot of time usually. So when you see a casting call for a stand-in or something of that nature, usually they will cast it completely depending on your height, your skin tone, and your hair color. So it's really, really important you have a similar look to the actor or actress you're standing in for because of the lighting and because of the camera and all of that. So yeah, standing in is something I've done off and on for the past year. All of this info is based off of my experience and it is one of my favorite things to do. It's a lot of hurry up and waiting, just like background. Once again, you can look at my background video to see exactly a little bit more detail on what to expect. I even linked a few things that like I feel are necessary to have on set with you on Amazon if you want them. But since we're talking about standing in today, I'm going to reiterate that you need your own chair while you're on set. I have one with my name on it just because that makes me feel better, because everyone knows whose chair it is, no one's gonna accidentally take it, that kind of thing. The cool part about standing in, if you are interested in furthering your career, is sometimes you get to do the lines. So it's more common when you're on set, you will get why can't I think of the word? This packet with what you're going to be doing that day, and it has the scenes and the lines. So if you're standing in, it's more common for like a TV show for you to say the lines. It's also common. I worked on the Really Loudhouse for the second season, and I was used as a utility stand-in. So I was standing in for multiple people, and you want to be familiar with the person you're supposed to be standing in, with how tall they are and like what shoes they have on that day, just in case. You kind of want to compare if you're able to. It just helps make the camera operator, the cinematographer, it makes their jobs a lot easier if you're familiar. So when standing in, you'll get a packet with what you're doing that day, and you want to immediately go to it. Be familiar with the lines and look and see what scenes the person you're specifically standing in for. So say I'm standing in for Sally, and on the call sheet, that's not what it's called though, the sides. Okay, sides. On the call sheet, Sally's gonna have a number next to her name. It's gonna be a 5. And so I'm looking through every scene to see what scene has a 5 beside it, so that I know, and I'm starring it, I'm highlighting it, whatever I need to do, so that when I hear we're about to move on to that scene, I'm ready, I'm familiar with my lines, and I'm watching, paying attention to make sure I know where my actress is rehearsing or standing or starting or anything like that. It's really, really important. So a utility stand-in, like I said, is when you stand in for multiple people. I was able to do that on Loudhouse. And it was so fun. That's still my favorite stand-in job I think I've ever done, just because it was pretty much full time, because we were standing in for multiple people. They used us all the time, and we got to, because the actresses are so specific in the characters, since it's based off a cartoon, we really got to kind of dive into the characters when we were saying their lines, or I would get to read off screen a lot of time for the actual actors, and it was such a huge learning experience. Got to work directly with the acting coach to really be able to nail the lines that I was saying. So that's what I mean when I say it can help you further your career. Just by being on any set, you're gonna meet people and make friends. So standing in is definitely just one of my favorites. What to expect when you're standing in. If you're not a utility, you're one person, Sally, when you go in, you're immediately gonna go to the costume trailer and ask for a color cover. A color cover is gonna tell you what color outfit that person that you're standing in for, Sally, is wearing that day. Sally has on a bright red dress. Maybe they have two of them. Maybe you're Sally's exact measurements. They might put you in that same dress so that when it's time for you to stand on your mark, it's very similar to what Sally's gonna look like. Now, sometimes they'll just give you a jacket or a t-shirt to throw on. Sometimes they let you know beforehand, hey, this person you're standing in for is wearing black tomorrow, bring a couple options. I always, bouncing off my background video. If you haven't watched it, go watch it, because that's gonna give you a lot more info on what to expect. But I keep tons of options just in case. I'm extremely hot-natured. My face is red today. I've been at the pool. But I do tons of layers, always. And you just want to prepare for anything, especially if they're giving you maybe a coat to throw on that matches or something like that. You want to be able to take it off and on and feel comfortable in what you have. That's really, really important. When you're a utility though, you won't get a matching color unless there's one specific person maybe you're filling in for more. It's always good to ask. But from my experience, since you're playing multiple people, there's no point in getting one specific color, because it'll change as the day goes on. But every set is different. I've worked on different sets where literally not one thing was the same, and I was standing in, I think I've done one series and maybe two series and three movies at this point. So I feel like I'm familiar with what different directors like, but it's always hard your first few days getting into a job. You just want to come as prepared as possible, because they're gonna expect you to hit the ground running even if you don't have anything that you need to have. The last job I worked on, I was feeling really confident. I was like, I've been a stand-in on so many productions now. I feel really, really good about it. I know that all the directors and everyone really liked me at my old job. You know, I just had a great feeling about it. And so I went on set, and it was the first scene I was standing in for. It was the first scene of the day, so I didn't get to watch anyone before me do anything or the other stand-ins, and immediately I was lost. I paid attention as much as I could, but they did a private rehearsal for a while, so I wasn't even in the building, couldn't hear what they were doing, no marks, nothing. And then they did one practice marking rehearsal, which marking is when they come in and they put on the ground each mark that the actor or actress hits, which only happens sometimes for some reason. It doesn't get marked sometimes. So I was lost. And of course, you know, the assistant director and the director were both kind of like, have you never done this before? And I was like, I'm so sorry guys, I have. This is just completely different from what I'm used to. And anywho, everywhere you go is going to be different, so just trying to be prepared and don't get too cocky like, oh, I know what they're going to want, I know what to expect, because as soon as you do, you don't. So they did a private rehearsal I wasn't there for, a marking rehearsal, which was one time, and it just so happened that the actress I was standing in for had a lot in that scene, a lot of lines, a lot of marks to hit, was moving all around the room, and I forgot to bring a pen. So I'm watching, trying to memorize, watched it once, and then we broke for lunch. So that was also not the best thing because I kind of forgot where she went, what she was doing. I wasn't able to take immediate notes because I forgot a pen, and it was just a hard day for me. So I had to get it together immediately. You know, I was like, who has a pen? Let me take some notes. Let me ask around. What are other people, you know, expecting? What do we think? And then when we came back from lunch, it was my time to shine, and I kind of looked like an idiot. So you learn new things all the time and every day, and it just is such a learning experience. There's always room for growth and knowledge. So it's important that you're following along from that moment then on. I had 2 pens with me every day because I had the habit of losing one, and then I would watch the scene and I would write out like a 1 here, a 2 here, a 3, and coordinate the marks. Say 1 was marked in front of the chair, write that down and write it beside the line. And you just want to know even their body movements, body language, what they figured out they want to do when they do it in the marking rehearsal. You want to match it as best you can. And if you are able to say the lines and you've heard them say the lines, you want to deliver it in a way that is similar, just so everyone is as prepared as possible, as they can be. And you really, as a stand-in, I love it because I think it's an important part. I think that the actors and actresses are always so thankful that you're there so they don't have to be when they're not needed. And you know, the cinematographers and the camera operators and the directors, assistant directors, everybody really appreciates like having you there so that they can do their job as efficiently and successfully as possible. So that's really, really great. So another thing with standing in is you have access to Crafty. Unless you're union in New Mexico with background, you don't get access to Crafty. So background, that's where I'm saying like it's a little bit higher of a level compared to background standing in is, because you're also kind of, usually depending on the crew and stuff, you're, I don't know, some places are different, but a lot of things I've worked on, the stand-ins are classified with the cast, and they really appreciate having you, especially if you're on there the full season. Like you're basically the cast if you're standing in for like the #1, the main actor. So it's different from being background. So you have access to Crafty. Crafty is like unlimited snacks and food that they have for everyone. Usually background has a different, maybe a more limited, because there's more background, a more limited more limited options for food and stuff. But if you are a stand-in, you usually have access to anything they have, which is really, really nice. Once again, you will have your own PA. It's gonna be the background PA, but just make sure you know who that is. Make sure you're ready. They'll give you a piece of tape with your name on it. You want to put it right across your chest. As soon as you get there and you check in with them and you have your color cover, you want to put it on across your chest and keep it there so people know your name and know what you're doing and know who you're standing in for. Yeah, I'm trying to think the most important things that you should take from this video are your first job might be a little bit hard because it's a learning curve. That's with anything. So never be afraid to try something new and do a stand-in job. If you're normally doing background, the pay's a little bit better. You get a little bit more access to different things. You get to work directly with some of the higher ups. So I think some big things are have an open mind, be ready to learn something new, listen more than you speak. Always, that is always on set. You want to listen, you want to watch and learn. You want to be a sponge, because if you're talking, you can't be listening, and you want to know what's going on. That's just the biggest thing. Standing in, be what's most important, be where you need to be when they need you. If my scene is shooting directly after lunch, I'm gonna come back from lunch 5 minutes early and I'm gonna be on my mark, because I don't want anyone to ever have to look for me, ever have to call my name. And that's really important. That I just, yeah, what else is important to know? Be where you are, be familiar with the scenes, know what's going on for the day. Never make anyone look for you. Be prepared, be ready to learn. It's okay if you mess up like I did on my first day. Say, I'm so sorry guys, I've got it next time. Next scene, I'm gonna kill it, don't worry. Or tomorrow when I come back, I will do it exactly how you want. Which can be hard if you're used to something else. But yeah, I hope this video has been helpful. The really important things to remember are things that I had no idea when I went to my first stand-in job. Some places will be forgiving and some places will not, depending on stress level and things like that. But never give up, believe in yourself. That's my little positive message. If you haven't watched my background actor video in New Mexico, please go watch it, because you'll get so much information from that as well. But this is just a touch on stand-in stuff. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, and I hope this has been helpful. I wish there was a video like this when I got started, because I was completely lost. So otherwise, just same with background, take lots of options for clothing, be ready. You don't have to do your hair or makeup for standing in, but you want to be presentable and you want to make sure your skin tone matches who you were cast for. So that's really all I have. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And hi Dad, if you're watching this, he texted me after my last one and said he liked it. So this is just for you, Dad. Love you. Bye guys.